This video is sponsored by Skillshare. The first 1000 people to click the link down below will get 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free. Nowadays, everyone is constantly busy with something. But being busy doesn't mean we're using our time efficiently. It's sad to say this, but most people completely waste their time. And time is our most valuable resource. We can't make more of it like we can make more money, for example. So it's wise to use our time in a way that will benefit us. When we're bored, what do we usually do? Most of us end up being glued to a phone, TV, or a computer screen. That might ease our boredom in the moment, and we might not even consider that time to be wasted. But there's an opportunity cost. That time could have been spent on a different, more valuable activity. Specifically on something that could actually benefit us greatly in the future. This is why in this video, I'll go over 5 things that will help you ease your boredom and teach you to use your free time more productively. Number 1. Reading. I know what you might be thinking. What? Reading? No way, that's boring. But hear me out. Reading is extremely underrated. Many people dislike it because when they were younger, they were forced to read. Especially in school, they were mostly given books that weren't that interesting or weren't relevant to them. This made people hate reading, and I totally get that. But when you have the option to voluntarily choose which book you're going to read, you can understand why it's enjoyable. When you actually have an interest in the topic, books become exciting and fun. Not only can they help ease your boredom, they're also one of the best ways to expand your knowledge. This can give you a massive competitive advantage, especially if you read books about the field you're working in. There's a reason why most people that make it to the top read a lot more than the average person. They're able to develop skills and gain knowledge that they otherwise wouldn't have, or it would take them longer to get to that level on their own. This is why whenever I go somewhere, whether it's a doctor's appointment or somewhere else where I know I'll have to wait, I always bring a book with me. And when I look around the room, most people are just scrolling on their phones, browsing social media or watching cat videos. I have nothing against that, it's their choice. But if you're looking to get ahead in life, you might want to stop scrolling and start reading. Most people don't read anything after they've finished school. This is why reading just a few key books can be a massive advantage for you. I recommend finding books that will help you better understand the world around you and those that expose you to new ideas and philosophies. Books on topics such as self-development, social skills, human behavior, and finance. The book I think everyone should read is Atomic Habits by James Clear. A lot of my videos were inspired by that exact book. So if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend you do. Number 2. Planning and goal setting. People often forget why they're pursuing something in the first place, while some may not even be sure what they're supposed to be doing in their daily life. This lack of direction then often shows up as boredom. That's why having goals is important. They're like a compass that guides you forward. Plus they provide you with the inspiration and motivation to get stuff done. If you don't have a list of goals yet, now is the perfect time to make one. Setting goals is fun, and you get a nice dopamine rush when you imagine yourself achieving them. But if you don't want your goal to be just a wish, you need to create a plan on how you're going to reach it. It's been well researched that when you plan out your goals, you're more likely to follow through and achieve them. But it's also necessary that you write them all down on a physical piece of paper and not just leave them floating somewhere in the back of your mind. You see, your brain likes to filter out things that it deems less important. When you write down your goals, you're using more regions of your brain, giving the information more influence and importance. This means you're more likely to remember it and follow through. Plus you give the information some structure, so it's not just a pile of mumbo-jumbo flying around inside your head. Furthermore, a physical list will serve as a visual reminder. Every time you look at it, you'll be reminded of what you're supposed to be doing and why you're doing it in the first place. Personally, I love going through the lists I made in the past because I can see how much progress I've made so far. And it usually reignites the spark to continue grinding forward. So try it out for yourself and set some goals and plans for the future. Number 3. Exercise. Exercise is something everyone knows is good and should be done frequently, but for some reason not everyone does it. Most people who exercise do it to look better in the mirror. And there's nothing wrong with that, it's a nice side effect. But there's another reason why you should exercise and why I'm motivated to do it personally. It improves our brain function. When we exercise, our brain releases a cocktail of neurotransmitters which balance our mood. Serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine, etc. They make us feel good while reducing anxiety and depression. But our brain also releases something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF for short. This protein supports survival of our brain neurons while boosting growth of new synapses. To put it simply, it preserves and grows new brain cells. This allows you to make better connections and remember more of what you learn. Now, exercise doesn't necessarily mean an intense gym workout or a sweaty run. Taking a walk has already been shown to have similar brain benefits. There's a reason why some Greek philosophers taught their lectures while walking and moving around. They might not have known the science behind it, but they probably noticed the positive brain effects. Another way exercise benefits us is by helping us disconnect from external stimuli. Nowadays, when we feel bored for even just a few minutes, we very quickly reach for our phones. We're constantly stimulating our brains with external distractions, and we never really give our minds a proper break. But have you ever noticed that when you take a shower, you suddenly have a ton of new ideas? You're thinking about life, processing your day, creating plans for the future, etc. It's not the shower that does this. It's you finally disconnecting from all the external stimuli. Basically, you step off your mind's gas pedal. Instead of taking in new information, you're letting your brain process existing information. And exercise helps you do that. It allows you to properly disconnect. So if you're bored and have some time to spare, leave your phone at home and go for a jog or a long walk. You just might return with some insights and ideas you didn't have before. Number 4. Clean up your room. Take a look around right now. Chances are that the space you're in is far from clean. However, you might want to change that as our physical environment has a huge impact on our cognition, behavior, and decision making. When our surroundings are a mess, so are we. But once we remove all this visual clutter from our environment, we're able to focus and process information much better, because there are fewer things competing for our attention. Now, I know that it can be difficult to bring yourself to even begin cleaning. Often we dread starting because the place is a complete mess. And we believe that we have to clean the whole thing at once, which of course can be a lot of work. But you shouldn't aim for sparkling clean. Instead, you should just go for slightly cleaner. Straighten out the carpet, throw those leftovers into the trash, arrange all the papers lying around, organize your workspace a little bit. Sure, it might not be perfect, but it's better than it was before, which is the most important part. Remember, you're not aiming for perfectly clean, just cleaner. Now, if you're laying on the couch right now with a phone glued to your face and you don't feel like moving at all, then at least clean up your phone. Clean up your photo gallery and remove the apps you don't use. You probably have them there just in case, but let's be real. If you haven't used them in months, you probably won't need them in the future. And if you do, you can always reinstall them. You can also do this on your computer by cleaning up some files or your desktop. Or perhaps more importantly for some of you, clean up your search history. Number 5. Improve or learn a new skill. Education doesn't end when you finish school, and it's not confined to the classroom either. You will find that the most accomplished people in the world are those who never stop learning. They're constantly improving their skills and incorporating new knowledge. So when you don't know what to do with your free time, that's a perfect opportunity to try something new. When we get to experience something novel, we tend to get a surge of motivation as long as we find the activity enjoyable. And it doesn't matter if it's learning to draw or learning a completely new instrument. This motivation and positive mood can then spread to other areas of our lives. Other activities that usually aren't as enjoyable tend to become more fun as well because we're in a better mood overall. In other words, you can take the momentum you get from this novel experience and take it to other areas. Of course, whenever you're learning something, it's beneficial to have a good teacher who can accelerate your progress. This is why I recommend you check out Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform with thousands of easy-to-follow, professionally made classes on many creative and entrepreneurial topics. Take a scroll through their website and pick whichever subject might interest you. Want to learn how to animate videos? Take a class on Skillshare and learn how you can. Have you ever wanted to create your own website? There is a class for that as well. Instead of looking at cat videos, spend some time on Skillshare to learn a new useful skill or further develop an existing one. The class I recommend you check out first is from Thomas Frank. He talks about how to build good habits that last, something that will help you in every walk of life. But if that's not in your interest, Skillshare has plenty of other classes you can dive into. Their annual subscription is less than $10 per month, and since Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 1000 people to click the link down below get 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free. I highly recommend you give them a try. So, spice up your day a little bit and explore something new. You never know when this additional knowledge might come in handy. So, those were the 5 activities I believe are a good use of your time. Do you agree or disagree with my picks? Would you add anything else to the list? Let me know in the comments below. I hope that when you're bored and feel like you have nothing to do, that you pick at least one of the things I listed. Remember, time is our most valuable resource. You don't want to let it go to waste. Instead, make sure to get the most out of it. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new today and you became better than yesterday.